today at 877-266-9083. Oasis is currently not providing legal funding in Arkansas, Kansas, Kentucky, Maryland, North Carolina, North Dakota, or West Virginia.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Kansas. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the KSHSAA and the Kansas Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Pump fakes to the right.
Oh, got him.
Throws to the end zone. It is caught by Hayden Hurst. Touchdown. Bengals. Burrow sucked the Bills in with the pump fake, and Hayden Hurst was wide open at the goal line.
McKinnon coming on sprint action. Now they throw it near side. Kelsey's got it. Touchdown. Kansas City sprinting inside the near front pylon. And Chad Henne leads a 98-yard Chiefs touchdown drive.
I don't know if it's just like riding a bike, but you're always prepared. And I think with this offense, obviously all the weapons that we have.
Every time we watch the Kansas City Chiefs, what do we see? We see they always have something, a new flavor, a new little wrinkle. This injury hurts Patrick Mahomes for his preparation. This
so much better than what we left in Junction. I feel like we're a completely different team than what we started the year as. I think we just all got confident. We're not turning it over near as much. They were just pressuring, and then we've learned from that.
And where you got a kid that can just absolutely light it up in many different facets, and Brett Dutton. So, that's a tough task, but he's got good role players around him.
I think it was our kids settled down and got more sound defensively especially, and then that kind of breeded some confidence on the offensive end.
Get a quick release off, and if it's not open, then find an open teammate, but it was off quick enough, so
Purdy out of the shotgun. Kittle and Juszczyk are right. Ayuk the other side. Handoff McCaffrey. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Quickly, left to right. TCU in transition. The bucket for Jacoby Coles off one pass down the floor.
This is one of those nights for TCU.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. I just had so much audio, I had to put them all in there. 10 sounds of the weekend, all crammed in here today for the Monday show. Welcome in, Steve Webster with you. Mike Corson here, along with Aaron Clark, getting ready for the program today. Our executive producer and engineer, Mike Hesher. His chair is empty right now. He didn't get back from the shop in time today. He went in for a little work. Hopefully he's back today because he has a couple games today at the Hoisington Winter Jam. Hopefully all is well with Mikey.
I'll be on standby.
Mikey, too, yeah. You're ready to go. Hello, Mike Corson, for the second time today.
I may have us streaming, I might not.
Well, that's scary, so... On this program today, we're going to have Alan Clark will be in, Jim Mazunas from the Great Bend Tribune, and also Mike Corson on the prowl will be talking with Nathan Brockelman on the program today. Okay, ready to get started here, boys? Here we go. Call on the Bengals radio network. Hayden Hurst reels in the 15-yard Joe Burrow pass for a touchdown. Bengals out 14-0 on the Bills. They go on to win that game, 27-10. They dominated their defense. Josh Allen never did figure out the corner blitz and all the blitz packages that were thrown at him. And, man, Cincinnati looks good. So the AFC Championship game for the 5th straight year, it will be at Arrowhead Stadium. Chiefs advancing Saturday, beating the Jaguars 27-20. They had to call on the backup in this game. Chad Henne completing that 98-yard scoring drive in the second quarter. That put the Chiefs ahead 17-7. Patrick Mahomes hurting his right ankle in the first half. Was not in there in the second quarter, did return in the second half, but that was a big touchdown as it gave the Chiefs a 10-point lead. They were able to hold the Jaguars at bay. Henne talking about, well, I'm just ready to go. A lot of people thought Henne was retired, but like he did against Cleveland in the playoffs 2-3 years ago, he comes in and helps the Chiefs get the victory. As for Patrick Mahomes, MRI, he's got a high ankle sprain. His availability for next week, well, he's got to be limited. And on ESPN, Orlando Franklin brought up a good point. Preparation. They always like to throw in new things each week. Well, I don't know if Mahomes will probably be in a boot, probably walking around. It'll be hard to get ready, but they've done it before. But, okay, Chiefs in Cincinnati, here we go. The odds have to be in favor of the Chiefs winning. But without Patrick, man, your right foot, I mean, he throws better off his left foot sometimes. He may have to throw off his left foot if he's going to play in this game coming up.
Well, hey, we saw him throw that pass off no feet with a little jump pass in the game against the Jaguars there. And I'm really excited. Like, if he was perfectly healthy, I'd feel like a lot more confident for the Chiefs. Obviously, the Bengals, really talented team. Him being knocked up really puts it in question, I think, because part of what makes Mahomes so special is his ability to create outside the pocket and outside of structure. And so if he can't move quite as well, if he can't hit all of those throws outside the pocket because he's having to throw off a damaged platform, it'll be interesting, especially with the Bengals using Mike Hilton in that slot corner. Don't get me wrong, he's a good coverage cornerback there too. Him blitzing from the slot the past 3 years, even dating back 3 years ago when he was still with Pittsburgh, he's just such a good blitzer from the slot.
Well, they had some great packages for him. I mean, they'd show pressure on one side, he'd bring it from the other and kind of sneak him in behind that tackle. Yeah, Josh Allen, man, he got pummeled, especially in that second half, so the Bengals do get that victory.
So are we saying Mahomes is a system quarterback now?
What
Get the
system
guy
is that?
coming
You come in there and you run outside and then you make a play. I mean, that's part of what he does.
Right, but when the backup comes in and does well, you're like, wow, maybe Mahomes
I've been
adamant that Andy Reid's a big contributor to this, but we did get a drive part 2, from back in the
That's
Denver
pretty
days.
impressive. 98 yards, man. I mean, to go downfield and do that, and man, they needed it. So, yeah, he would be the system quarterback for sure. Yeah,
and I think that's just the epitome of what you want your backup quarterback to be able to do. Just come in and mesh with what you're trying to do, not make any terrible, crucial errors, and work the ball. I mean, 98
How many guys are going to be within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage if Henny's in there? You think press coverage is going to be... And you have like a whole week, did they not decide that Travis Kelce would be someone that they might want to just put somebody on? He caught 14 balls in that game.
It's his career high, not even just postseason, just career high overall for him. And like you said, in a postseason game after the season he's been having, I think over 1,300 receiving yards. Impressive they were able to ignore him like that.
But and I don't know how serious Lamar Jackson's injury is, but if you look at the way Patrick Mahomes reacted after they tried to pull him out of the game, he never throws fits. He was pretty angry that he had to come out.
I like this. Yeah, so many people, well, I don't want to risk anything. Well, he was ready to risk everything, but Andy Reid sent him in. Okay. You think he had anything else done besides just an X-ray? Some go-go juice, man.
Oh, I imagine there was something else getting into his system.
Well,
there.
get a big needle out because, man, you're going to need it on Sunday. That'll be a 5:30 kick. So what's Andy Reid do? So you put this thing together. They carry more tight ends, productive tight ends, than anyone else. I mean, you come in with a heavy package. Pacheco can run the football. I was hoping that Buffalo might come back and win it because their run defense has been pitiful here at the end of the season. Maybe it's the Chiefs that go into that ball control game and give Pacheco about 30 carries and see if they can keep the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands, because I'm not sure the Chiefs will be able to score enough points to beat Cincinnati if you don't have Mahomes in the game. But maybe Chad Henne will surprise us all. But, yeah, I have not seen the line. I didn't have a chance to check that.
I haven't seen it either. But this is one where you don't want to go to Atlanta and play until you have to play Cincinnati, and then you're like, man, Atlanta looked good.
There's going to be a lot of Bengals fans making that drive. Cincinnati to Kansas City for a conference championship is not that far at all. I think we're going to get a nice little fire going there in Arrowhead with a mix of red and orange.
Burn their cars if they're out in the parking
There you
lot,
go.
man. You just had, see if they can find their tickets the way in there. Our Bengals fan over there in the Chase area. He was calling in today, too, so he was feeling pretty confident right now. So the Chiefs, and we'll have, of course, a lot more on that game coming up. Of course, I didn't get to see it. I got in the car at okay, so here you go to a basketball tournament, right? El Dorado, the roundhouse, right? But I got disoriented, okay? So because the last day I said, well, it's raining right now. I'm not going to park in the front. I'm going to park in the back. And then I'll just walk in one of those side doors. Well, that was pretty good. I didn't have to walk very far, didn't get very wet, went in there. But then after I was there with only 3 custodians at the end, I ended up going out the wrong door.
You ain't getting back in.
Have you been to that gym before?
Just once.
Yeah, but and I'm in the front. Well, you've got to walk all the way around the back of the other side of the building, which is like a hall, or you can go around behind the school. Well, there's no sidewalk back there, and there's no lights. So I've got all this equipment, and then it's raining. So, and this drainage ditch is going back there, right? And I really can't see. I've got all this equipment, and, I've got the luggage. I got the equipment in one. I've got the laptop, and then my bag over the other. And I said, man, I don't want to jump because I may fall backwards. So, yeah, I stepped in. Yeah, I was ankle deep. Then tried to come up the other side. Almost slipped and went down, but then got behind the building. I was thinking, man, I just hope that I am going the right direction. I'm just seeing, well, there's an elderly man that's lost behind El Dorado High School. And then I came around the corner, and there was a van. And I had muddy shoes and anything else, but...
Do us a favor, take the camera next time.
That's what I was thinking. I would have could get a little, Bear Grylls experience on Webby trekking through the wilderness out there.
That's what we do, That's what we do.
For quality broadcast.
So that cut into the time, but my point of the story is I got in the car just for the final onside kick. I was able to listen to the end of the game. Chiefs end up winning it. Okay, we're going to move to basketball right now. That was Ian Premer talking about the improvement Great Bend has made. I don't think I've ever seen a high school team improve so much over 12 games from the first game of the year. We sat there at Junction City and watched that team give up 63 points in the first half to a Junction City team that's good, but, they've lost 3 times now on the season. And there they were in the championship game at the Blue Stem. Let me tell you this, first of all, that is after beating Wichita Collegiate in the semis. What a fun game that was. Great Bend built a 15-point lead and had to hang on down the stretch. Cape and Mount Carmel was really, really good. They have 12 guys on the roster. The shortest guy is 6'2", and including 6'6", Will Ancio, who signed at K-State to be a tight end. Great hands, great passer. They're really good, and their Panthers were hanging in there. They got it within 6 right before the end of the first half, and Capen scores the last 4 points of the half, first 10 of the second half, lights out. But Ian Premer, a freshman, named the MVP in this tournament. Holy smokes. What a performance. He averaged 16 points. He's averaged about 17 since the holiday break. So the Panthers are now 6-6. No downside to this. They played a good Capen team, battled them hard. You have a short preparation time. So, yeah, let's get going here. They go to Dodge City on Friday, but congratulations to Ian Premer and Kyle Creed and the coaching staff at Great Bend High School. That team continues to get better.
I was listening to your broadcast during the Chiefs game. So, yeah, if you take away the start in the first quarter and the third quarter, there's your margin right there.
Yeah, because it's 6-0, 10-2. And then, a 14-0 run kind of put it away. They did that to Ark City in the semifinals as well. Very, very good basketball team the Panthers were going up against. And, again, the team continues to get better. It's kind of an odd... the Chiefs are playing. It's rainy. It's kind of mixing, spitting some snow there. You had KU, K-State playing. And they didn't play any... I guess their music person was gone as well, so...
Watching the Chiefs.
It was like the 3 o'clock game at the Winter Jam, and you've got Cimarron taking on Pratt on a weekday. It was kind of a weird... It's a championship game, but, yeah, it didn't have the jump like you usually would for a championship game, but oh well. All right, Kyle Haxton. What a game they had on Friday night. 2 overtimes, they beat Ellsworth. That was an upset as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you look at the seeding, but I look at Hoysen, Tony Moore's kind of taking over a different role on that team. Seems like they're getting a little bit better, too, as the season goes on.
And that was real low-scoring games all day Friday, but come out and Haxton hit a couple threes, I think, in 90 seconds. Ellsworth kept pace. and then you end up going 2 overtimes and still barely get to 40, so it was kind of a funny game. But yeah, Ellsworth, fun to see Brett Rolfs back in action. Never thought I'd see him coach again. Had him at 8-2 going in, and Hoisington's there to take him to the wire.
So Hoiston in the championship game once again. I think this is, what, 7 years in a row or maybe 8. And they've been on a pretty good run. The only time they didn't win it, Victoria beat them like 3 years ago. They will take on Ellenwood, undefeated. They ended up beating Pratt by 11 points. Derek Joyner talking about what got them turned around a little bit. Sounds like they just kind of relaxed a little bit and went to work like they have been and take care of the Class 4A Greenbacks.
And it was closer throughout. Dutton had, I think he was 11 of 12 free throws in the fourth quarter, so that was stretching it out a little bit. So you had 4 games. The 2 girls' games were decided by 2 points each. The boys went double overtime, and then you had a game that basically went to free throws. So great action Friday.
Addie Mason talking about her game winner as they move on with a game winner to beat Ellsworth in the semifinals. So it'll be the Hoiston girls taking on Cimarron in the championship game. And she said, yeah, who's the play designed? Well, it was kind of for me, you know, and I knew that it was kind of going in as soon as I released it. So
yeah, I think they had a timeout, 20 seconds left, down 1. Super low scoring game. I think that final was 25-23, so reluctant to put up any shots, but she did it from a few steps back behind the arc.
25-23. Was the wind blowing in there?
And it wasn't, when you're watching it, it didn't seem that bad. Yeah, even Cimarron, you got the girl going to Creighton, Michaela Miller, and she finished, I think she was 1 of 12 to open the game, finished with 8 points. So
I'll tell you what, we've seen a couple of wacky scoring outputs so far at the Winter Jam. Maybe there is a draft in there affecting the shots or something.
So what do you, Michaela Miller, right?
Yeah, the Cimarron.
Yeah. So what do you think of her?
In the past,
she's a good ball player, but I'm probably getting her all fired up here today if she's coming up here for that game. But she's okay. I don't know, D1.
Yeah, Division I's a little shocking. I mean, she's looked good the last 2 years, and I expect her to come out strong today in the finals. But I suppose everybody's entitled to a bad one, but that one was pretty cold.
You've been over there, so Hoiston got anything for Cimarron today?
I mean, the Cimarron girls did not score against Pratt, and I don't know how good Pratt is, but keep banging around inside. The Mooney and Kylie Hahn in there are pretty tough girls inside. Got the Rife girl that can come in. If Addie can knock down some shots, anything's possible.
Absolutely, and then Boxberger can get
going
too.
Yep.
Yeah, Jordan, she's got a nice shot. Okay.
She had a big steal that led to a basket from Kylie Hahn that gave them the late lead, and then she made the pass to Mason to set up the win.
Okay, Ellenwood really blew out Hoiston last year in the semifinals, so I don't know, Ellenwood's kind of on a different level right now, but Kyle Haxton's boys will be ready to go. So we will have 4 games for you, no 5th or 7th place games. Those got, they said it's kind of up to those teams. If they want to make them up, they can. So 2:30 today, it'll be Pratt against Ellsworth. Girls, 3rd place game, Pratt against Ellsworth. And the boys' 3rd place game, Hoiston against Cimarron. And the girls' championship starts at 5:30. Boys' championship with Mike Hesher or Aaron Clark on the call for that game. Hoisington and Ellenwood, all 4 games on 100.7 Eagle Country. Also, NFL playoffs, back to football, 49ers radio network. Christian McCaffrey, 2-yard touchdown run. Niners led 16-9. They go on to beat the Cowboys 19-12. This is really hard to believe because if you would believe Cowboy fans, they've been in every Super Bowl since the last 50-plus years. Yeah, that was, they lost it 7th straight time in the divisional round and have failed to make it to the NFC title game since winning their 5th Super Bowl following the 1995 season.
Wasn't the world on the edge of its seat wanting a touchdown to make it a 1-point game and put that kicker back out on the field with no time?
I was hoping for it.
But I was just hoping when they scored the first touchdown, come on, man, just knock it through there. I don't like, and if you were rooting, you were rooting for him to miss it, weren't you?
I got to think, what was his week like? He had to have booted through 100 balls.
Well, thankfully, that I don't think that would have been. I think that would have been wide left of the goal line
horrible.
pylon.
Yeah. It was
He yanked it to the left and got blocked.
Oh yeah, it was above it was over the C gap when it got blocked.
Oh man.
The dumbest rule in football is where if you're diving through the end zone and you fumble and the defense doesn't touch it, they still get the ball. Second dumbest rule, if you don't fight for forward progress and you get hit out of bounds, the clock doesn't stop. That was a huge play late in that game.
I didn't realize that. Another one of the NFL rules that
the defender actually knew that. He was calling it right away. Unbelievable rule.
Well, give the guy the credit.
Yeah, you can run straight out of bounds, clock stops, but if you make contact...
I believe if you're forced out of it, like if you go out of bounds on your own volition, clock stops. If you're, if they would have tackled you, it would have been a tackle if the sideline wasn't there. I think the clock stays running. I'm not entirely sure how the rule works, but that seems to be how it's enforced.
So San Francisco against the Philadelphia Eagles, and as I said on Friday, that the Eagles were going to just roll right past the Giants.
That's what I had. That's what I had teed up. I told you that pressure was going to get to them. They had.
Hey, I got 3 out of 4 right. I just wanted to argue with you.
Yeah,
so.
I get it. You can't let me get too big of a headset smoke fit before too long.
And finally, you talk about a beatdown. There's been a lot of beatdowns over the years at Allen Fieldhouse, but it's KU providing the whipping. TCU, wow, beat KU 83-60. So KU now has lost 2 straight games. Tonight they're in Waco to take on Baylor. And then Saturday, they go to Lexington to take on Kentucky. Now, I've always seen this with some teams, with high school teams maybe. They come back, but they lose a lot of players from the year before, but they still have that aura. The teams are still thinking they're playing the team from the year before. So KU'd been winning all these close games. I thought, well, maybe they're just not playing that good right now. But did TCU blow the door off that invincibility? I mean, does everybody want a piece of KU right now? It's kind of what I'm getting the feeling. I mean, it's Jalen Wilson and nobody else right now for Kansas, and they could end up losing their 3rd straight tonight in Waco. Wow.
They could have a handful of losses if not for the comeback wins, but
oh yeah,
kind of key. TCU did the same thing to K-State, but now K-State's at the top of the league, so watch out for TCU. Evidently, they come to play sometimes.
Kansas State, they were down in the second half to Texas Tech, who hadn't won a conference game, but then K-State rallied to go ahead and win that game by 10. So they play Iowa State tomorrow at Bramlage. Iowa State lost for the first time in conference play. They fall to Oklahoma State 61-59. So there you go. K-State 6-1 on top of the standings. You have Kansas, Iowa State, Texas, all at 5-2. TCU, Baylor 4-3, Oklahoma State 3-4, Oklahoma 2-5, West Virginia 1-6, and Texas Tech is 0-7.
Here's where you get your college basketball prospectus and mark off all the experts who called it.
Okay, what do you bring for us today there?
So I don't know if you guys heard about it, but did you hear Boston Scott's touchdown numbers? The Philadelphia Eagles running back. He's now scored 11 of the 18 touchdowns in his career against the Giants. And it's really funny because he's 5'6", and so he's the 5'6" giant slayer for the Eagles. 11 of his 18 career touchdowns have come against the Giants. And then also, this Super Bowl, since we're going to have one, either Joe Burrow or we're going to have one quarterback on rookie money, which will be every year since 2012. The Super Bowl has featured a quarterback who's playing on a rookie contract, except for 2016 when we had Matt Ryan versus Tom Brady.
Everybody thinks Tom Brady, San Francisco ought to get him. No. You've got Purdy. You've got him on the cheapest contract you could have. San Francisco, man, they're going to have all kinds of cap money. Look out for the 49ers. My goodness.
And then last little shout out here, going back to the local market, Skylar McMullen picking up a football offer from Kansas Wesleyan.
Good job. It's going to go be a Coyote. All right.
There we go. Two offers.
Okay, have you packed your jammies yet? You're going to go to Lawrence this week.
I've started the preparations.
Lady Panthers play in the Firebird Classic. Lawrence Free State High School. They will play at 4:30 on Thursday against Blue Valley. Great Bend Panther boys, they'll play a single game out of Dodge City on Friday. Alan Clark standing by. Coming up next here on Sports Day.
Attention high school juniors. Explore your career paths at Barton Community College's Junior Day, February 15th. This fun and free day features a campus tour, giveaways, yard games, pizza, and oh, did we mention $3,000 in scholarships will be up for grabs? Learn about a variety of career paths, some which can get you in the workforce and making money in just one semester. Sign up online at juniorday.bartonccc.edu through February 1st to attend Junior Day.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. And after a year in business, Dr. Luke Criley has joined the practice. He is a physical therapist that also offers dry needling. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse, 2817 9th Street, Great Bend.
You don't have to be a tech expert to enjoy the latest devices. Get a Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus or iPhone 14 Pro Max half off at Next Tech Wireless. Not only are you getting a great deal on those devices, you're also getting them with a great customer service guarantee. We'll help you get your information transferred from your old phone and help you learn the ins and outs of your new phone. Next Tech Wireless.
Hey folks, this is Trey Bergen with Ag 360 Insurance in St. John. We are an independent agency offering several types of insurance, including crop, farm, irrigation, business, personal, and life. We would appreciate an opportunity to earn your business. Feel free to stop by our office at 103 East 4th Avenue in St. John or give us a call at 620-549-3579. You can also check us out online at ag360insurance.com.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Indeed. Welcome back, Sports Day. Head coach Alan Clark joining us in studio today. Barton taking the weekend off. So, had your off week, I guess. Recruiting time's a pretty good time right now to have that off week.
Got to see some really good teams up in the Kansas City area. Went up to a tournament up there and went over to the Missouri side. Truman High School over in Independence, Missouri is really good. And St. Thomas Aquinas, of course, we're not really recruiting any of those kids, but saw them play and recruiting a kid from Olathe West and recruiting another kid from Fort Osage High School in Independence, which is where Howard Pujols went to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's some lineage there.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you happen to see Blue Valley play any during your trips up there?
Which Blue Valley school are you talking about? Probably Blue Valley North.
Just the Blue Valley.
No, didn't see any Blue Valley schools. Blue Valley North, I think, is ranked number 1.
Okay, because
in 6A, they've got a couple of sophomores. I saw them play last year. We were recruiting a kid last year. There was a senior ended up going to Regis, but they had 2 freshman kids that are really, really good. Of course, they're sophomores now, and so.
I was looking for scouting reports since Great Bend plays the Blue Valley.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I wasn't following you there.
No,
my bad.
Great Bend plays the Blue Valley.
Okay.
I guess the first Blue Valley before they went directional.
Yeah.
After all the just like the Shawnee Mission School, they've got all kinds of directions. So they'll play them 4:30 up at the Firebird Classic at Lawrence Free State. What's the level of high school girls basketball up there?
That's really good. It's really good. I'd like to get up there and watch some of that if I can. One of those days. Is Derby up there too? They've been up there in the past.
Nope. It's going to be Lawrence, Topeka West, Blue Valley, Great Bend, Topeka High, Wichita Northwest, and Goddard, Eisenhower, and Free State.
That's some good teams. Yep. That'll be a good tournament.
Okay. So no basketball games. So as far as how do you handle it with the kids on,
Yeah, we gave them a couple days off and then came back and, with the weather wasn't conducive to doing much Saturday night. But we practiced yesterday afternoon and came back this morning and had another good practice this morning. So we're back at it.
Okay, Garden City last Wednesday, you got off to a fast start, but then it was that second quarter. Garden City got your attention a little bit.
Yeah, we were playing them zone, and they brought in a kid that she's had some games where she's hit a couple threes, but she came in and hit 4 threes on us, and so we, when as long as she was in the rest of the game, we played man. When they took her out, we played zone because she was the only one that could make any shots for them. So it turned out all right.
Yeah, down by 1 at halftime, and then come out and outscore them 17-6 in the third quarter. So got that.
Yeah, we just made that adjustment, and you know, they struggled to score in the third quarter, and so we were able to open it up a little bit.
Okay, interesting. Look at the top of these standings right now. We're kind of talking about before you came on that, you know, we're seeing the separation. Usually you get that, especially in a long season. Dodge City 12-1. They put up 108 points on Cowley on Saturday, winning 108-74. You're right there with Butler right now, both 10-3. And then you have Hutchinson and Coffeyville at 10-4. Then Seward's down there at 8-6, but they got beat by Butler by 6 on Saturday in El Dorado. So, yep, starting to see the separators.
Right. Yeah, and that's usually what happens towards this time of the year. And the good thing is you know, we have lost to Hutch. We lost to Coffeyville. We beat Butler, but all those were road games. And so we got those 3 at home yet. And then, you know, got to go to Cowley, and Cowley's playing a little different now than they were earlier in the year. And if you look at their scores, you know, like you say, Dodge put 108 up on them. That's because you remember the Cowley men a couple years ago, and of course now the Hutch men playing that fast style, press,
yeah,
jack up threes, and that's the way Cowley's women are starting to play since Christmas break. Basically, you know, they struggled this year, and I guess Todd decided, hey, I don't have anything to lose, and might as well, you know, try to play that style.
So the threes didn't go down against Dodge City, but it did create a lot more possessions.
Well, yeah, and they, you know, they scored 74 points, I think, is what it was, and that's not a bad number.
No.
But when you give up 108, it's hard to win when you're giving up 108. But you know, if you go back a couple games ago, they scored 97. Had another game they scored 90, and so yeah, they're just trying to get more shots and play faster, and you know, they're 2-2 basically playing that style.
Cole talks about Hutchinson, and maybe talk about what's different about them. They seem to be playing pretty well. They took care of Cloud County yesterday, 75-56, in a game pushed back to Sunday. Talk about Hutch. What's going on with them?
Well,
right now?
you know, they always just get better and better because their coaching staff is really, really good, and so, you know, they've changed their offense as well a little bit. You know, they've always run a lot of flare screens and things like that. And they still run that some, but the film I've seen on them, they've started to run some other offensive stuff that's maybe more conducive for their players. And Maya Williams obviously is playing better. She did not play well early in the season, and you know, she's the kid that was player of the year last year, or co-player of the year maybe, but she's playing better.
You come back, you player of the year, and you come back and you kind of distractions, or maybe you come back and not dominate your sophomore year.
Yeah, who knows? It you know, it could be that, you know, she's a little bit lackadaisical, or you know, maybe, I don't know if she's signed with anybody already, you know, at the next level. I don't know what the situation is, but I'm sure John got her attention and she's playing better.
How do you handle that? I mean, everybody probably does a little bit different because, you know, junior college route's a little bit different. You know, you come out, you have sophomores back, that's always good, but they, you know, got one eye here and maybe one eye on next year.
And we've had to deal with that more probably this year than we have in the past. You know, we've got some kids that are getting Division I offers and trying to make sure that they stay focused. None of our kids they've told the coaches they're not signing, you know, until the end of the year, and they're really not, you know, looking outside of what we're doing here, which is, you know, that's good for us. But they've told all the coaches the same thing, and so hopefully that'll continue, and they can stay focused on what they're doing here.
Okay, so heading to Cali, I don't know, let's see, Paul W. Wright, I think, gymnasium, I don't know, something like that. That's a cool place to play.
Yeah.
It's got some character.
Oh, yeah, it's an old-time place that they've remodeled a little bit, but it's still got, you know, it's got the walls around the like the TMP, the old Hoisington gym, the old Lions gym back in the day, that kind of a pit, you know, to it, and everybody else is up above, a little gladiator thing going on there. And so, yeah, it's a fun place to play. It's a hard place to play, but it's fun.
Yeah, I remember the game down there when Barton scored 35 points, had 42 turnovers, and Cali had 34 turnovers in that game. That was...
Well, I don't remember that one.
Well, no, that was before your time.
Well,
okay.
We've had some games where we've turned the ball over against them because they're, you know, they've had some good clubs to pass for sure.
Okay, what did you see from your team that encourages? I mean, that was a good bounce back. You had to get a win. I mean, coming back after the game with Dodge.
Our defense was back to where it needed to be. Like I said, we played mainly zone, but our zone was active, and we were guarding the people we needed to be guarding, And other than the kid coming in and knocking down 4 threes, that gave them 12 extra points. That we held them, I think, to 48 in the game, and so defensively we were back to where we're supposed to be. And sometimes when you're spending that much time on the defensive end, maybe your offense gets hurt a little bit, but hopefully we can put it all together here in the future.
Shot 50% from the floor, 2 for 9 for 3. That's good. I mean, if you're hitting the 2-point shots, you don't need the 3-pointers.
Exactly. And the way the Garden City plays and the pressure, and they did have an answer for Jenny down low, and so we were able to pound the ball into Jenny and didn't have to shoot a lot of threes, and so that was good. But we've got to be able to make some 3-point shots. Some of the teams that we play are going to be able to take some of those inside things away, and so we're going to need Brendan Kirchhoff and Morgan and Corey and Alyssa, and we're just going to need to make some 3-point shots in the future.
How much do you get involved in as a shooting coach? I mean, especially your sophomores, you probably have seen them play a lot, on what they do, the way they shoot, things like that.
Yeah, not a lot. Those kids have been shooting that way for a long time, unless it's just, just completely broke, then, we don't get too involved. Mainly what we want them to do is we want them to release it, correctly, coming off, your middle finger and your index finger at the same time, and kind of like when you're throwing a baseball. But main thing for them is just getting in the gym and just getting repetition, getting shots up, and so that you take what you do well as far as shooting the basketball and just perfect it. And once you get the release down, the hold the follow through, it's just repetition.
Yeah. So usually though, if it's broke, you probably didn't recruit them, right?
No, exactly. Well, at least you didn't recruit them for that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not gonna think, well, I can fix that shot, But if they can do something else besides shoot it, then you're fine. But yeah, you got to have shooters. You got to have people who can put the ball in the basket, and the 3-point line is a weapon that you can use. Unfortunately, what they do is every time people start getting really good at it, they move it back a little bit further.
Well, maybe we need to move it back near the midcourt line right now. They're going to get pretty good at that right now. This is that, and again, we're going back to the long season again. But, you see teams win a bunch of close games. I'm going to go to the men's side, for example, because Dodge City was running away from that. They beat Barton. I mean, they were way out ahead of everybody, a 3-game lead. Then they lose that last-second shot against the Cougars, and then all of a sudden then they lose at home to Cowley, and then all of a sudden you've only got a 1-game lead, and you start getting tight. It's just
the Jayhawk Conference is tough. Both on the men's and women's side, there's no game that you can say, well, that that's going to be a win. So you got to go out and play every night, and hopefully, when you have a loss like we had against Dodge City, you don't let that linger. You can get over it and move on, and don't let one loss turn into 2.
I'd ask you about injuries because I don't like to do that because I don't have a block of wood in here to knock on. But, you staying healthy. I mean, the other thing is in all the sickness that's gone around, has that kind of gone through with you guys already? Or?
Yeah, we had some a little bit before Christmas break. But, yeah, we try to do a lot of stuff as much as we can to prevent injuries. You're not going to prevent them all, obviously, but we do as much as we can. And then, trying to do a lot of stretching at this time of year, making sure people, our kids are still, not getting tight, and because it's real easy after this amount of time to start slacking off on some of those little things that help prevent injuries. And so we do a lot of that.
Okay, kind of, headed down to Cali. As you said, strange things happen down there. It's a tough place to play. So I guess your thoughts right now on headed to Ark City on Wednesday night, Alan?
Well, Cali's they're gonna speed the game up. Like I say, they've changed a little bit of their style of play, and so they're going to try to press us. We got to take care of the ball. That's number one. Got to take care of the ball. Second thing on the defensive end is we got to guard the 3-point arc. Unlike Garden City, who didn't have a lot of shooters, now we turn around and play a team that's got a ton of shooters, and we got to make sure we're guarding the 3-point arc because I don't think I shouldn't say they live and die by the 3, but they depend on it a lot.
Okay, Alan, thanks for coming in today, and
appreciate it, Steve.
Have a good game down there in the. They still have all the orange down there too. That's one of the
It's all orange. Yeah, and they've got cheerleaders. They got so many cheerleaders. You remember how Barton used to have back in the day?
Well,
and that's what they have now. They have that. They have that many and more probably.
Yeah, the W. Scott Auditorium down there. It's a cool place.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like playing in a pumpkin. Okay, Alan Clark here with us on Sports Day. Lady Cougars and the Cougar men down at Arc City on Wednesday. Cole Reif will have the call for you on B1043. The Point pregame will roll at 5:15 on Wednesday. Jim Mizunas, Great Bend Tribune, coming in next here on Sports Day.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction. They have quite a few jobs scheduled for the new year, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Reif, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Thank you for calling Ruby's Incorporated. How can I help you?
I'm having a problem with my furnace.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What sort of problem?
Well, it sounds like... Have you heard that before?
Oh, yeah. We get calls like this all the time. At Ruby's Incorporated, we can definitely fix your furnace.
Call Brian at Ruby's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration in Great Bend. Your independent Train dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
GB Tires, the tire experts of Great Bend. GB. Generations of buyers come back time and again. GB. Out in the field, out on the road. GB Tires has the names you know. Like Bridgestone, Firestone, on GB you can depend. GB. With fast, friendly service like it's always been. Don't need an appointment, just bring it in. GB Tires, the tire experts of Great Bend.
He's a veteran of high school and college sports coverage in Kansas. Sports Day presents the Great Bend Tribune's Jim Mizunas.
Thank goodness he comes in. K-State at Iowa State, not at Bramlage tomorrow. What am I getting? Opponents inverted now when I look at this? But first place Kansas State at Hilton tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'd give them as much of a chance as I did at Texas, which I favored Texas by like 30 that night. And, of course, K-State won that game. I don't know how the heck they scored a program record, 116 points. But, yeah, it's amazing. And you always say, what's the value of a coach? And then you see what Tang has done with K-State, and you said, well, I think there's some value in getting a heck of a good coach coming in. So, but, yeah, Iowa State certainly – playing at home, they're crazy there. It'll be a tough game to win, but
K-State always plays goods up at age.
Kansas State has had a tradition of playing pretty well at Iowa State, but yeah, you certainly favor Iowa State in that game. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be fun. I mean, it's been fun already. I mean, had K-State lost, there would have been 4 teams tied for first place, and maybe they didn't trail in the Texas game, but I think K-State has trailed in every game this year, maybe outside of Texas, in the Big 12. So again, it's how you play down the stretch, and Kansas has had that same formula. What's their first half point differential, like minus 150? Because they come back and play pretty well in the second half.
Well, they better play better tonight.
Yeah, and then they've got Kentucky.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Kansas they'll play better. I mean, it's certainly a game that's winnable, and yeah, Kansas has really got to win that game to right the ship.
When's the last time that you remember a freshman boys player being named the MVP of a high school tournament?
Yeah, that's like never. Where did Dean Wade play his freshman year? I suppose
I'm sure he's over at Larned. So
yeah, but
maybe.
I don't know who all was MVP, but yeah, that's an amazing achievement for Ian Premer. And the thing that I like about Ian is he doesn't overshoot the three.
No, not at all.
He shoots it on occasion when the defense gives him. He takes the ball to the basket. He gets to the free throw line. And he's got a nice passing touch. I think the thing, and it surprised Cape, and I know Steve Veck, I mean, you talk about a great coach. I mean, that was easily, that team was, 10, 15 points better than Hutch High? I mean, so well coached. And their guys were 6'2", 6'2", 6'4", 6'6". Very well coached, disciplined, tough, and just tremendous team. But Ian Pramer, being a lefty, surprises every team every week. Every week he surprises somebody.
Yeah, that Capon team is good. Shortest player on the roster, 12 men deep, 6'2", was the shortest player. And I tell you what, that Will Ancio, I bet he's going to be a really good tight end. He's quick. He's got good hands.
Yeah, Capon was very well balanced, much more balanced than Hutch High. But again, Hutch went out to Dodge and won that tournament for the third time. The interesting thing for Great Bend boys is they have a 50% chance of playing at Capon or at Hutch in postseason. So at least they've seen those two teams and certainly have a 50-50 chance of playing there.
Give me some other odds where they could go.
Well, those are, you know, if you're seated somewhere along 7 to 11, which is right where Great Bend is right now, you're going to play one of the top two seeds.
But, you know, they're 6-6 right now. Now's the time to go in there. They got Dodge City coming up. They'll get back into the WAC schedule. You've got Liberal twice in there, so they've got a chance where they can move up out of that a little
definitely.
bit.
They have a great chance. Outside, you know, and Hayes will be a tough game up there, but Garden is legit. They went to the championship game and lost to a really good Wichita Heights team.
Who had beat Capon by 15 points.
Beat Capon, yeah. So great that loss to Garden doesn't look bad at all. And Great Bend really played really well. They had 2 shots to tie or win late in the game. So they'll play Garden tough out there. And certainly Liberal is very winnable. That should be 2 easy wins. And, you know, Dodge, we'll see Friday. If they can win at Dodge, then they got a chance to win 2 more there. And they've got
Bueller's not that good this year.
No, Bueller's down. So yeah, they certainly have a chance to. And you're right. The real season starts after your postseason, after your midseason tournament, because now you get into league play and you're playing those teams home and home in the WAC, and it gets to be a lot of fun because, outside of turnovers, Great Bend's exactly where they need to be. They're shooting the 3 halfway decent from time to time. They're working the ball in. They get good pressure, good defense. Coach Kyle's mixing up defense. He's playing zone when he needs to, man-to-man when he can. The only thing is they just need to cut those turnovers down to about 10, and they could beat anybody.
Okay. What'd you bring in with you today?
Well, the surprising thing of the weekend was Hoisington boys. What a job by Kyle Haxton.
Yeah.
Unbelievable effort by Hoisington getting to the championship game for what was it, the 7th or 8th straight year?
It's got to be in there, yeah.
But anyway, what an incredible achievement. And I'll tell you what, looking at their sub-state, they may be down near the bottom, but that's still a team. They've got some elements of their team where they shoot the 3 halfway decent. They got some height inside. They got some ball handlers. That's still going to be a dangerous team, I think, in March. And we'll see how they fare in the league schedule because Heston won their league tournament, and there's some other teams that are in there that are Smoky Valley's really good. And so they'll get 7 or 8 really good games here down the stretch. But, yeah, what an achievement to get to the championship game tonight at Hoisington. And the Hoisington girls, no surprise there. I thought they'd make the finals. And, of course, it took a last-second 3-pointer to do it. But, hey, they'll score more than 28 points tonight for sure. So, yeah, Hoisington 5:30 and 7 up at Hoisington.
Okay, looking forward to those championship games tonight. And anything else?
Well, Maxville boys faced a really tough Wichita Independent team and ended up losing by 16 in the final. But Maxville's still a really good 1A team that'll have a chance to qualify for state again. And Central Plains girls lost for the 3rd time, but again to a really talented international team from Wichita Sunrise. And they lost 54-28, which again is an unusual loss, but Coach Stiles will still have a shot. Right now, Central Plains girls are the 5th seeded team in their sub-state, just to show how tough that is. Little River and Pretty Prairie are both 10-0, and Fairfield has one of their best girls teams. And St. John played the best half they have maybe in years. They outscored Minneapolis 30-9 in the 3rd place game to beat a really good Minneapolis team. So St. John's going to be a factor in that sub-state too. We got Great Bend bowling at 3 at home and Great Bend swimming at 4 today. So got a couple home events for Great Bend, and that'll keep things going until Friday when Great Bend goes out to Dodge for their basketball game.
Very good. Jim Azunas here with us, and you know who I was talking about from the Butler?
Oh yeah.
God, he thought you were a god. I thought, well, okay, yeah, Jim he's pretty good.
Yeah, he does a really good job.
Yeah,
over
he
there in
does.
Butler
Man,
County.
that makes it easy to cover that tournament,
You know,
too.
he covered that tournament from wall to wall and then had a summary on every game. It was really nice to follow, to get a feel for. It's amazing. Collegiate was down 15 points. Capon was doing nothing. And, you know, it was amazing to see how those games turned around because Collegiate, in every game, they had to struggle to play each game. They got 10, 15 points behind in every game and ended up winning 2 of them. But Capon, same way. They were sleepwalking and then finally put things together. So
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It was a good
everybody
tournament.
says, you know, everybody talked about Collegiate's talented freshman class. They're good, but
Hey, I would
Great
take-
Bends aren't bad either.
I would take Great Bend's 2 guys over over Collegiate's 2 for sure.
Well, maybe we get Jaden Parker on top of that, too. But, yeah, it was a fun trip down to El Dorado. Jim, thanks so much. We'll
Well, you're
talk to you next Monday. We'll be down the home stretch for the high school basketball season. Okay, coming up on the Prowl, Mike Corson talking with Nathan Brockelman here on Sports Day.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Gray Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
I had a young gal come in the other day who has been having chronic back pain. Did a session just helping her to understand her pain, not understanding her back, but teaching her how her nervous system works. And just that knowledge just calmed her down so much. She came back in this morning, huge smile on her face, and she was so excited to learn more. It was a blast.
Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
You don't have to be a tech expert to enjoy the latest devices. Get a Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus or iPhone 14 Pro Max half off at Next Tech Wireless. Not only are you getting a great deal on those devices, you're also getting them with a great customer service guarantee. We'll help you get your information transferred from your old phone and help you learn the ins and outs of your new phone. Next Tech Wireless.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Corson, joined today by Great Bend wrestling coach Nathan Brockelman. Coach, quite the weekend in Hayes for you guys.
Yeah, we wrestled pretty well in Hayes. It was a nice little end to the week after beating them in the duels on Tuesday, and then placing 8 out of the 10 that we took to Hayes. We sent a couple of our varsity guys to Cimarron, as Cimarron was also a varsity tournament, but just felt some of them may be better off trying to get 5 matches instead of potentially going 0-2 at Hayes. But overall, yeah, placing 8 out of 10 and taking 3rd, bringing home a little plaque was a good weekend.
So Great Bend finished 3rd, and it was behind 2 6A ranked teams. And then the top 3 teams really just kind of dominated everybody. Was that expected going in?
I never really know what to expect going into that tournament. It's got a lot of the smaller schools in it. It's got few of the bigger schools in, and we don't get to see a lot of the 3-2-1A schools. But growing up in 3-2-1A, I know there are a few tough kids in every single weight out there. So I don't necessarily do my research on some of them. I just kind of look at their records and hope that our strength of schedule is better than what their record shows.
So I think you had 5 kids make it to the finals, and that's always a super tough tournament, but 1 winner. So Jay Schartz has moved down to 144. He's not ranked, but he ends up taking down the 2nd-ranked kid from Ellis, and he gets the win. Is he adjusting well to that new going down a weight class?
Yeah, he's adjusting well. Him and Cooper both dropped down a weight class at Capon the week before. I think the little bit of adjustment maybe could have been a little bit of the reason why he took a bad loss last week at Capon, but he adjusted well, and he was able to pick up the win over the Ellis kid, and then pretty big win over the Junction City kid in the final 7-6. The Junction City kid was, I believe, a state champion a few years back.
And so Cooper Lyles takes over Jace's spot he's number 3 at 150, so he makes it to the finals, but he gets beat by a kid who's ranked number 6, and they had him at 138 pounds, the Tay Wilson of Pratt. Was it unusual to see somebody wrestling up 2 weight classes and have that success?
Well, I know when we dueled Pratt, Tay Wilson was not in their lineup. He was originally a 138-pounder, but they said he got, I can't remember which influenza, either A or B is what their coach was saying. He got real sick there, which is kind of crazy because usually when you get real sick, you know, you don't gain a lot of weight. But they said when he came back from being sick, he was like 155 pounds, and he was even struggling to kind of get down to 150 after getting up that big. So they just let him go ahead and just stay at 150, and you know, Tay looked really well. It was a pretty good match between the two. A lot of action, a lot of pace getting pushed on us, and we just got to make sure we're in a little bit better shape and we win that match, I think.
And freshman Tristan Tomlinson, he's up to number 6 at 106 pounds, so he pins his first 2 opponents. And then you talk about a tough bracket. He runs into second-ranked Caleb Hutchinson of Manhattan, and Hutchinson's able to get the pin, but things really going well for Tristan.
Tristan's wrestling real well as a freshman. He wrestles a lot of freshmen at 106, which is kind of what that weight class is a little bit designed. You get a few upperclassmen in there, but he's having a good year for us. We're looking for, you know, big things. In our duel, he picked up a win over the Hayes kid, who was number 4. So that'll move him up a little bit as far as this next week's rankings go. And Hutchinson's kid's a solid kid. We wrestled him in the duel. He pinned us in the duel, and he pinned us in the finals at Hayes, but we did have some positives in that match. We almost secured a couple takedowns, which didn't even come close the first time when we wrestled him in the duel. And Tristan's biggest, honestly, Tristan's biggest issue right now is himself. Sometimes when something doesn't quite go his way, or he has to get on bottom, he's not very comfortable on bottom. Sometimes he kind of just freaks out. Not really freaks out, but just has a mental lapse, I guess you could say, and has a little struggle. So we just kind of told him, you know, you got to get over that between now and state. He's going to earn himself a medal.
Talking to Panther Wrestling coach Nathan Brockelman, one of the maybe better matches on the day. Matthew Johnson has been as high as number 2 at 175. So he makes it to the finals, and he's going up against third-ranked Adrian Turner of Capon, 1-0.
Yep, 1-0. Unfortunately, again, we could not get off a bottom. It was very obvious to us that we need to do a little more work on bottom, and some of it, when you're working on bottom to try to get away from someone, it's kind of the mental aspect of things. It's the want to get out of bottom. It's not necessarily a trick or a move that we can teach you to try to get out of there. It's more how bad do you want to get off a bottom to stop, you know, someone to stop someone from pounding on you and different things like that. But we wrestled a pretty good match. We stayed out of his throws, which is what Turner likes to do. He likes to hit a lot of lat drops, and almost secured a couple takedowns. We were just on the edge of the mat, unfortunately, and Turner was able to get out of bounds before we could secure it.
So maybe one more from Hayes. That's Kevin Schroeder, 215. He has to get through a ranked wrestler to get to the finals, and then he runs into another ranked wrestler from Capon.
Yeah, we had a big win over Vikander of Manhattan. Vikander actually pinned us at the Dodge City tournament 2 weeks ago, and we were able to pick up, I believe it was like a 7-5 or 7-6 win in the semifinals. He had a big feet-to-back takedown on a double leg on Vikander, and Vikander just was never able to quite come all the way back and beat us. That was a pretty big win for Kevin. It's nice to get some wins back on kids that beat you early in the year, and that was the first time we got a shot at the Elias kid from Capon. It was just kind of the same thing. We were kind of in the match, doing pretty well, and we just couldn't quite get things done.
And real quick out to Cimarrons, where part of the squad was Michael Montoya, kind of stole the show out there. 165-pounder goes 5-0 with 5 pins for first place.
Yep, that's what the hope was when we sent Michael out there. We were trying to get, you know, Cimarron is a varsity tournament, and that's an opportunity for some of our JV kids to step up and get a varsity letter, but as well as sending some of our varsity kids out there to regain some confidence before we head into the Garden City Duel and the Garden City Tournament.
And that was my next question. Where are you guys headed this week?
We got Garden City home. Well, actually, our JV goes over to Ellenwood tonight, starting at 6 p.m. We got our JV boys and about 6 girls wrestling over there, and then tomorrow night we host Garden City for our final home double duel, as far as double meaning boys and girls at the same time. And then our varsity boys will head out to Garden City for Friday, Saturday, and our JV will be at Larned on Saturday.
Coach Brockelman, good luck.
Thank you.
More Sports Day after this.
Attention high school juniors. Explore your career paths at Barton Community College's Junior Day, February 15th. This fun and free day features a campus tour, giveaways, yard games, pizza. And oh, did we mention $3,000 in scholarships will be up for grabs? Learn about a variety of career paths, some which can get you in the workforce and making money in just one semester. Sign up online at juniorday.bartonccc.edu through February 1st to attend Junior Day.
All right, that is it. That is the show. Tomorrow, Roger Ward, we're going to talk Batcat baseball on the program tomorrow. Cole Reif will be in, and Nathan Brockelman again. They're going to talk about some fun stuff tomorrow about Norton.
This is Agriculture.